What's up, guys? Topher here with TNF Battle Blog, bringing you some hashtag Throwback Thursday. This is episode number 14, I think. Is it 14? Yes, it is 14. We're going to be playing a game called Syndicate. It is actually one of my more favorite first-person shooter games that are out there. Not many people like it. It is like a cooperative, team-based game. You're not playing. It's not competitive. You're playing against bots. There's different difficulties and different stuff, little objectives and side missions and all this stuff to do. I played it extensively on the Xbox, which is what we're playing right here, Xbox 360. You can probably pick this up for like hella cheap right now, and it's a fun way to spend an evening with four friends as they level up. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I'm actually really close to completing it, like getting all the achievements in it. But the last couple take up a whole bunch of time, and quite frankly, I ran out of steam trying to get gamer score and stuff like that. But as you know, like Throwback Thursday isn't necessarily about the game as much as it is about the stories from my life and from YouTube and all of this stuff. And there's been one thing I've been kind of thinking about talking about for quite some time, and I've never really had the courage so much to do it. But I'm gonna go ahead and do it tonight. You see, I think most people think I'm a pretty happy guy for most of the time, and I think like in real life, people kind of view me as like an advice like father figure type guy. People call me Big Daddy at work, and they ask me for advice on what they should do with their life. Ruckus sent me a text message earlier like, "Hey man, should I buy a 70-inch TV?" And because they know what the answer is going to be, but they need somebody that's going to tell them what they need to hear. And I've always kind of been that guy. And so this might come as a surprise to a lot of people who know me. My whole life I've struggled with pretty severe, like, chronic depression. All right, I'm not talking about this to make you guys feel bad for me or for pity or anything like that. Obviously, I don't want you guys to like a video or I'll start getting depressed again or anything like that. But I think it's something important to talk about, especially in today's society, because there's like a pretty bad stigma attached to mental illness. And I'm not crazy very much, but I've had a pretty powerful life experience. And like I said, a lot of people don't know this about me because I think a lot of people view me as like a strong person, somebody who can shoulder the weight of their burdens and help them through tough times. And that's not always been the case. And in fact, my biggest weakness is being vulnerable. And it's hard for me to show weakness. And so this is something that's very difficult for me to talk about. As most of you guys know, I'm an old ass man. I got 3 teenage children. I was married for quite a long time, for about 7, 8 years, something like that, to their mother. And this isn't about their mom. And their mom is actually a pretty wonderful person, who's a wonderful mother, and just for whatever reason, she just drives me insane, and not like in a bad way, actually in a bad way, but there's just something about her that I personally, I can't be me. I cannot be comfortable being me around her, for whatever reason. And so pretty much the whole time we were married, I have no memory of it, and I really never recognized that until like my first memory of that whole time is being divorced and just kind of like snapping out of the haze of what I'd kind of been through. And I never knew I was unhappy. And that's the thing about depression, is that you don't know how unhappy you are until you feel happiness. And basically, yeah, I have no memories. I have like picture memories, and they're literally from pictures, and I know what happened in and around that picture because I have a visual representation of that time to kind of jar my memory. And like I remember when Alexander was born because he was He was born extremely ill and was actually not alive when he was born. They had to bring him back to life, and so I remember that whole time. And I remember like Zach being born, and I kind of remember Madison being born. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing. There's just blackness, and it was blackness because of how unhappy I was, and I actually at one point I tried to commit suicide because I was so unhappy, and I know a lot of people go, well, how can you do that, or how can you think like that? Like, you have kids, you have this, you have that. And the thing about mental illness and about being severely depressed is that you don't consider like the obvious. I always think like in a logical context, but during that time I wasn't. All I could think about is the pain I was in and how to escape it. And to me, there was no light at the end of the tunnel for whatever reason, and I thought my only way out was to end my life. And it's actually, I don't want to say it's a funny story because it's not funny. It's humorous to me because I lived it, and it's kind of like a testament of how my brain works. Basically, one night, it was a Thursday night, and the reason why I know it was a Thursday night is because back in the good old days, I had the kids every single weekend. So on Friday, I would go and pick them up from their mom's house, and we'd spend the weekend. And then on Monday, she would pick them up. And so yeah, it was a Thursday night, and I was having a bad night. And like, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I wish I drank more. And I've never done drugs. I've never smoked pot. I've never done any of that stuff. Um, so I wasn't like out of my mind, whacked out on something. I just decided I couldn't take it anymore, and so I went into the I went into my closet and I got my shotgun, and my idea was that I was going to shoot myself in the head with a shotgun. And so I sat down on the bed and kind of like contemplated the physics of doing it. And I'm a mechanical person, so I want to make sure that everything is going to work mechanically out. And so I figured out how I was going to do it. And then I kind of like sat there. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, and I was like, well, it's going to make a mess. I don't want it to make a mess. So I went, I got a Glad trash bag, like a 32-gallon trash bag for catching up lawn clippings, and I put it like on the bed. And so I was like, okay, that's not enough. So I covered my bed in trash bags, so like there wouldn't be like a big mess to clean up afterwards. And I basically sat there and for hours trying to gain the courage, if you would call it that, to kill myself. And at some point, I fell asleep, and I woke up the next morning, and the first thing I thought was like, boom, open my eyes, like, hey, oh, awesome, it's Friday, I get to see my kids today. And I like kind of woke up, and I put the shotgun, because I actually was cuddling with the shotgun all night, and I had slept on all the trash bags. And so I jumped up and jumped in the shower and took a shower and got dressed. And I was really excited to see my kids because it had been so long. It had been a week since I'd seen them. And as I like walked through my bedroom, I kind of like looked at the scene behind me and was like, no, I gotta put away the shotgun and get rid of these trash bags that I was gonna blow my brains over. And as I was cleaning that up, it kind of hit me like, this isn't normal. This isn't, you shouldn't be feeling as bad enough to kill yourself the night before and then wake up the next morning happy and excited to see your kids. And I realized that there was something severely wrong with me. And instead of going to pick up my kids, I picked up the phone and I called my insurance company to find out who the closest counselor was in my area that would accept a new patient. And I called right away and I said, I need help, like, now. Like, this is not something that I can schedule an appointment a week out. I need help today. And I literally drove straight down there, and she had me fill out this form. And I don't know if it was the light of day or if it was the realization of how close I came to ending my life. But as I filled out the questionnaire, I actually like just sat there and just stared at my answers and realized that I needed to be different. I needed a different outlook on my life. And at that point, like, I made the conscious decision that I was not going to let this thing beat me. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't have the tools that I was going to use and need in order for me to get through this time in my life that I felt was hopeless. But at that point, I knew that I wasn't going to end my own life. And so when she took my paperwork, and obviously she had no customers or whatever counselors do, patients that day. She read them right in front of me, and she said, "We need to get you in a hospital, or we need to get you on drugs, and we need to do this and do that." And I like looked at her and I said, "No, you don't understand. Like, I'm not gonna kill myself now. I'm determined now not to do it because of how scared I am of what almost happened last night." And I was able to convince her that I wasn't a danger to myself and I wasn't a danger to my family. And she let me go, if you will. And she, over the years that we talked together, like I realized a lot about myself and how little value I placed on my own happiness throughout my life. And it changed the way that I think and that I operate. And she gave me the tools I needed to recognize when I start slipping into like a spell or a bout of depression or something like that. And over the years now, because this is back when Madison was 2, so this was 12 years ago. I I've maintained like this regiment of like healthy thinking. And I'm not saying that I've been perfect the whole time. I'm not going to say that I've never belittled myself or degraded myself in my head. Like, I'm not going to say that. But what I am going to tell you is that I have worked hard to maintain healthy thoughts. And when I do slip, I go back to those same mantras that I used to tell myself, because like, one of the things she told me is that every time I think something negative, oh, I have to tell myself 3 things positive. And it got to the point that it was like such a pain in the ass to come up with 3 new things that I'm good at doing, or that I that I'm good at, that I had to stop thinking about the bad things because I couldn't come up with anything new. So I was just like, fuck, I have to give up. I have to stop saying bad things about myself. And now when I do, think something negative, I do go, well, you're good at jerking off, and you're really good at making videos, and you're good at making friends on the internet. And it's ridiculous now, but I'm determined not to be that person again. And there's, like I said, there's such a stigma attached to mental health and to being depressed and to having suicidal thoughts, that a lot of people don't talk about it. And I know if anybody has actually made it here to minute 14 or wherever we're at, that you guys are like the true followers or true subscribers or my true friends, because I'm actually expecting to wake up tomorrow morning and losing subscribers because a lot of people don't want to hear about this and don't want to deal with this. One of the videos that I'm the most proud of doing was the Topher rants about racism, and I'm the most proud of that video. But that video caused like 8 people to unsubscribe to me. And if that happens to this video, then I'm sorry. Like, that wasn't my intention, because I think it's important that people who are depressed or who have these sort of issues in life, that they have somebody that they can talk to and that they can relate to. Because now I couldn't imagine ever feeling that way, because I have hope for my future, and I have a determination that my family and that my life is going to be successful. And if you don't have that belief, like, you need somebody to talk to. And like, I didn't have that person, you know what I mean? I didn't have any friends, or I didn't have anybody that I believed in that could talk me off that ledge. And so I guess the reason why I'm doing this is because I want people who are struggling to have hope. And I want the people that have nobody to talk to feel like they can talk to me, or they can talk to somebody else that will help them through their time. So, like I said, if anybody's turned off by this, then I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do for you about that. But I hope that you guys like this, and I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from and how hard it is for me to do this, because like I said, it's hard for me to be vulnerable and to show weakness, because I am an alpha dog, and alpha dogs don't like being weak. So please like, comment, subscribe, favorite, If you're not subscribed, don't make me have to try to commit suicide. So subscribe to me. No, just kidding. That's terrible. But I hope you guys had a good time. Well, not a good time, but I hope you guys have a better understanding of me and found this informative. And hopefully you guys can relate to kind of what I'm saying. And hopefully you guys are wanting to keep fighting with me. So thanks for watching and listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.